All right, well, really excited to get the win. It was a really good team win. Credit Boston College. They did a really nice job of running the ball and grinding out the clock and just kind of being really hard to get off the field. And thought Kevin played great. Thought we really played well offensively the first three quarters. A couple times, early in the game we settled for a field goal we missed and had to settle for another one. But we moved the ball really well, and especially when our defense was struggling to get off the field. And then late, I think we only punted twice. I think it was like our last two drives. When we didn't convert a few drives late, our defense finally stepped up, did what they needed to do. Big shout out to our crowd, to our student section. I heard this was a top 10 largest crowd in the history of SMU tonight. We've already set this attendance record for a season. We got a game left. They were there in the fourth quarter when we needed them. It was loud that last drive when we got them in those must-pass situations, and our D-line went to work. So, just proud of our guys. We knew it'd be hard. It's going to be hard to win every week. It's going to get harder and harder as the season shrinks and the games mean more. And I thought our team showed a lot of grit tonight. We didn't play bad, and they played well. And there was times that we did some things to keep them in it. But I thought they played a really good game, BC, and we're really fortunate to get the win.
Hey, Coach, up and down sort of game. What are your key takeaways from the game? I know you mentioned grit, but what are some other key takeaways you have for your team?
Yeah, they came out and they kind of played, credit them, they played with 5 D linemen a little bit more than they had shown it some, but more than you would think they would against us, just because of the way we play, and a little bit more odd front. Fine, at this point in the year, you've seen it all, but I think early on it kind of slowed down the run game a little bit for us. So that was some good change up for them. And then it just got to where they were playing one-on-one, and I thought Kevin, our wide receivers, had a really good night. Missed a few, and then we were able to, in the third quarter, I think, get our balance going again and run the ball a little bit better. It was up and down. I thought Kevin was really, really good, especially in the first half on third down, extending plays and moving the sticks. I thought he took the game over. The interception was on me. That was a really bad call. Put him in a bad situation. We also should have slid out and protected it better, but I put our team in a bad situation with that call based on the way they played it. And still, he had Roderick. The ball sailed on him if he he's getting hit as he throws and it sails. But yeah, it was. This is what we've kind of been spoiled, right? Other than the Duke game in conference, our games haven't been as tight late. But this is what I thought every game would be like in the fourth quarter. If y'all remember early in the season, I said, man, all these games are going to come down to 1-2 possessions in the fourth quarter, and there it was. But I think it was gritty because we responded when we needed to. They take they go down, make it 17-14 right before half, and we throw a pick. Our defense responds and gets a pick, and then we go steal 3 points. I think our team's done a good job of that this year. And then to start the second half, they go right down and score, and instantly we're behind. Offense goes right down the field and scores, and we're back ahead. And now we're playing with the lead the whole second half. Late, they score to make it 31-28. We aren't able to possess the ball on offense. Defense gets a stop. That's good team ball. That's what championship caliber teams have to do. So I'm just really proud of our guys with all the pressure, all the things that were going on against a really good physical BC team. That's my takeaway.
You mentioned your defense putting them in must-pass situations. Boston College got the ball back with a couple minutes left, and they have a really solid offensive line. You were missing Elijah Roberts. Were you surprised that your defensive line was able to do what it did on that last defensive stand?
No, I wasn't, because we got a lot of good pass rushers. I think not having Elijah hurt us stopping the run some, because he's a good all-around player. We did a good job. They were never explosive running the football, but because of the way the game went and it was able to stay fairly tight, we got up 17-7, and we were never able to make it a 3-score game. Then late in the second half, we got up, 31-21, and we were never quite able to make it a 3-score game. We allowed them to stay within striking distance and play their game plan, which was grind it out, getting third and shorts. I thought they did a nice job converting on some third downs. There was a couple in the first half, like a 3rd and 20, a 2nd and goal from the 19, we got to get off the field. But credit them on making some plays. But that last drive was the first time we kind of had them in a position where they kind of got to throw the ball. And I thought you saw what we were able to do. So, just a gritty performance all around.
As you walk through through your thinking on the two kind of late decisions? First of all, calling a timeout just before the 2-minute timeout.
Yeah, I didn't want to call a timeout there, but we were not in a good situation defensively, and I had to split-second decision. I would have loved to let it go, but if they snapped the ball there, no. I mean, they're probably going to get a yard, but we were definitely we had a problem. So I had to call a timeout. I didn't want to. I hate doing that. We have to do that often at times, and then they came out and got the yard and a half. Of course, now, in hindsight, if we stop them there, it's a big deal, but it wasn't a good exchange for us. What was the other one?
And the second thing was the decision to rush forward on that point down and score the touchdown.
Yeah, so, we were up 3, and they had 2 timeouts, and so we had to run the ball. I thought one of the biggest plays was Jordan's play on second down because, he can't run out of bounds there. And you're kind of in that weird mode of analytics guys are going to tell you SMU is wrong for scoring. I don't really care what they think. But we weren't worried about scoring. We were worried about them not getting the ball back in a one-possession game. And so, we told Jed, you can't go out of bounds. All our guys know this. You can't go out of bounds unless you get the first down. Well, he didn't. And he didn't get the first down, but he got us to 3rd and short. And we weren't able to get the tough yard on the next play. I think Junior came up just a little short. But we were able to run it down to, I believe, 12 seconds.
Yeah.
And so, if we kick a field goal and they block it and run it back for a touchdown, we lose. And so we didn't want to give them that option. If we do kick it and make it, we got to kick off to them. We're only up 6. They run it back, we lose. So, you know what? Let's try to convert it. Not necessarily score. If we score, that's fine. Let's try to convert it. Ball game's over. In that case, with that little bit of time, if we score up 10, ball game's over. But if we don't get it, and especially by flipping a jet sweep, that's going to take 4 to 6 seconds. They're going to have 1, maybe 2 plays on a -5. Like our odds there, a little bit better. So that was the whole basis behind it, and it worked out. Keyshawn got in.
Yes, sir. Your team is having a great season, and they're on the cusp of perhaps having a magical season. How are your kids handling that? How are you, sir, handling that?
I think you saw tonight how they're handling it. I mean, I thought, there's a lot of pressure. More probably put on by themselves. I mean, they want to win. They want it. And when the game was the tightest tonight, we played our best. And so I think that's the best evidence I can tell you for how they're handling it. As far as how I'm handling it, I don't know. I'm just taking it 1 minute at a time. But proud of our guys. Job's not done, but we're still in control of our destiny, and that's all that really matters.
We've talked a lot this season about the importance of explosive plays.
Mm-hmm.
You got a guy like Rashard Smith and breaks free for that 45-yard run, sets up that field goal, and then a guy like Kevin who's just making so many throws on the run. What does the combination of having the 2 of them on your offense do for that?
Well, we're scoring points. You know what I mean? We're hard to stop. I mean, because of those guys. I mean, you could see the plays Kevin was making tonight. There's no guru play calling going on there. Other than we're putting him in position to do what he does well and give him the flexibility and freedom to do it. And like I said, I think he does a really good job of improvising and valuing the football. And, that's the secret sauce. And then, Rashard's a home run guy. I think he was disappointed. We're kind of disappointed he didn't score on that 1-4 half. But, and then we had him open again on the linebacker on the fade. We just didn't give him a chance like we did on the one we got the PI. And so that would have been big. But those guys, they're playmakers. And so I think that's what coaching is just put guys in position to do what they do best and let them play. And don't put them in a box. There's got to be some guidelines. There's got to be some structure and discipline. But let them go play. And it's a player's game. And, we're going to trust those guys to the end.
So you talk about grit. Let's talk about the composure. Because I know, and I don't want to get into officiating, but there were times this game.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not be like that. So, but in these situations, in these type of games where you want to win, must win, maybe obviously, composure you can lose composure.
Yeah.
And this team seems they stayed to course.
Yeah.
Even when the calls ran down at your way, you felt like it wasn't. Guys kept going, and most times teams do lose that composure in these games that you lose.
Yeah.
Because you forget what the common goal is. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. We had 2 times tonight that I was disappointed in. The other one, I'm still disappointed in it, but I get it. Right after we threw the interception, I think Jakai will be the first to tell you he can't do what he did. They got him an extra 15 yards. Luckily, our defense bailed us out. The one later on Jordan, I didn't see everything, but he was defending a teammate. You can't do that in a moment like that. For whatever reason, every time they were tackling Kevin Jennings, they were trying to twist his ankle. I don't know why. We told the officials they can't see it, and if they can't see it, they can't call it. So I appreciate that. But that's bad ball, and so those guys were standing up for their quarterback. But overall, I do think, look, I'm going to make bad play calls. The guys are going to make bad plays. Calls are going to go against you. It's a human game. It's a human element. That's the game. We're going to compete and fight our tail off. But they do a great job of letting me worry about that and playing the next play. And I just think we got a mature team. I mean, I didn't know it till I walked. Someone told me I think we've won 18 of our last 20. That's kind of crazy. But it just shows you that these guys expect to win. And so I think that's probably why in those tight moments they have that composure.
Any update you can give on Xavier?
I don't know any details. He tweaked his knee a little right before half. No one's told me it's serious, but Guerin just felt like he wasn't all there, and so Chambly went in, and I think for the most part, did a really nice job in the second half. I don't think we had any major injuries. I'll get an update, but there's no one I know of, and we do expect to get Elijah back next week.
For almost about the last 2 seasons, you guys have really spread the ball out passing. Tonight it felt like you relied on maybe just a few guys to get the job done. Was that the game plan coming in, or was it more of a case of certain guys who were just getting hot throughout the game?
Well, kind of the way they played us. They do a good job. They're multiple all year long, so I wouldn't say they did, other than, like I said, playing a little more odd and 5 down linemen. They've still done that. They've been a lot of quarters, 3 and man all year. And they played predominantly 3 and man tonight, which is single high. So basically, our outside receivers were one-on-one, and they were playing off enough. That's why you saw us having to kind of dump it down about 10 yards. And then the couple times they pressed, we had Jordan on the touchdown, and we just felt like Kevin was seeing it well. We can get the ball out quick, and we were just basically playing one-on-one on the outside. And so those guys had the matchup. And then of course, right now Roderick Daniels and Brashard Smith are 2 of our playmakers. So however we can get them the ball, probably. There was other ways we'd like to get Roderick the ball more, but he does a lot with the touches he gets, and so we weren't force feeding anybody, other than we're going to hand the ball to one a lot, but I just thought Jordan Hudson, Keyshawn Smith, and Moochie Dixon played a really good game tonight.
You mentioned that guys put too much pressure on themselves. What can you do, or can the staff do to try to get them to relax, knowing there's 2 games to go, you guys have your destiny?
Well, and if I said that, I misspoke. I'm sorry. I don't think they're putting too much pressure on themselves. I'm saying I think they have higher expectations of themselves than the outside pressure. Maybe it's what I should have said. I think the way they played shows they're not playing tight. I don't think they're playing tight. I think it was a tough matchup for us. We knew coming in, Boston College, they're big, they're physical. They did it to us in the bowl game last year. They were going to line up. They did it last week against Syracuse and ran for 300 and something yards. So, we held them to 180, which is a lot for us this year, but it's a whole lot less than last week. So I thought we kept them from being explosive in the run game, but they were able to maintain the ball, and we stayed on the field a long time. So it was just a tough matchup. I thought they responded really well. We knew as a staff, we didn't overtalk, but, you get late in the season and the last 3 weeks come down to conference, you're in contention with a couple other teams. They're the hardest ones to win. First of all 3 of these teams, from BC to Virginia coming in today and Cal, were 5-4. They all have a winning record. They're all competing to go to a bowl. They're pretty motivated. It's not like we got a bunch of layups left, but I thought our guys did a nice job of hanging in there and understand the only thing we got to do is win. So I probably misspoke. I thought earlier in the year we did that. First 2 or 3 weeks of the season, I thought we did that. I don't think we're doing that. I just think they won it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
What did you see from Kobe tonight? To finish with 16, 8 solo, had a big sack late.
Yeah. The only reason probably he didn't break the rock is he's already broken it this year. 16 tackles is crazy. I thought Isaiah Wacobia, 9 tackles, that big pick. I thought our D-line did a great job, everyone up there. We had to play with 3 linebackers a lot because of the sets they were in, which is not something we hardly ever do, but we had to put all 3 linebackers out there, which are good players, but that just means they're not rotating the same. So for Kobe to have 16 tackles and probably hardly ever came off the field, it's pretty impressive.
Talk about the bowl game from last season. How motivating was that for your team this week? How does it feel now to win the game that mattered?
Yeah. We talked about it on Monday. Coach Dunham did the scout, and he brought it up. we get a chance to run it back. And this time we're not doing it in a baseball stadium in Boston with cold rain. We're doing it in Ford Stadium. And that's about the only time they know. They wanted to win. They really wanted to win for a lot of other reasons. But, yeah, they remembered that, especially that last quarter and a half last year. I think that was the difference. If you remember last year, we're in control of the game. Even though we're up 14-10, we throw a ball, Kevin makes an incredible throw, we drop a touchdown. We go up 21-10 there, who knows? Then a few plays later, I think we got a kick block or partially blocked. And then they just took over the game. And tonight, when it got tight late, we took over the game. So that was a good change. But, again, they're really good. We knew it coming in. We knew it was a tough matchup. And so we're thankful to try to, redeem ourselves from that bowl game last year.
Last question. Can you talk about the defense again? Just felt like they struggled a lot to get off the field, like you said, but then really stepping up when it mattered.
Yeah. That's what you got to do to win consistently and to potentially be a championship caliber team. You got to win different ways every week. You got to win sometimes when, like I said, go back to the Duke game. When we were a turnover machine offensively, we were holding the line on defense. And then you come back, you come to tonight where, again, we could have probably finished a few more drives with touchdowns and maybe created the distance we needed. But the offense was moving the ball and scoring and keeping us at least ahead when we were struggling to not only get off the field but keep them out of the end zone. But then it shifts, and now offensively we're not able to kind of run the clock out and score and possess the ball, and our defense steps up. To your point, right before half, at the end of the game, I just think, it's just good team ball. And I don't know, some years you play it, some years you don't. These guys have a good knack for it. They know when the moments are big enough, and they have, that's the grit I'm talking about. They just, when they need to make the plays, they do. They find ways to win. Teams either find ways to win or they find ways to lose, and our guys have done a nice job of finding ways to win.